Hi, welcome back. You're watching Startup Live in partnership with Tech Week. I'm Arabella Santiago, and we're here at the South by Southwest Interactive Festival in Austin, Texas. And we are speaking again to Guilluame Decugis. He is the co-founder and CEO of Scoopit, and he also is speaking at Tech Week. So today, instead of talking about your startup, Guilluame, let's talk about the general idea of curation. And let's talk about your session. So why is this curation model important right now to address in terms of like media online?
So I think there's a couple of aspects to curation. I think everyone feels the need for curation when you open your inbox, your emails, or like everything, all of the information you receive. But that also creates a second need, which is if you want to carry a message, if you want to speak, no one's going to hear you, and so you have to find a different way to communicate. And so curation has been a method of expression that is really new and powerful, and we've seen that happening as a trend. It's a new form of expression that is efficient.
And we were talking about who to put in our sessions and in your sessions. So who do you think would be an excellent speaker to speak on this panel about curation?
Well, I've just met this morning with Steve Rosenbaum. He's a great speaker and very enthusiastic about curation. I think there's also a number of startups which are trying to bring to users ways to do new stuff out of existing stuff. Like everything the idea of remixing content to create something new. I think we could have people from who started to do that in music in the 70s and the 80s. I really liked what happened there, because I think it's a role model for what's happening on the web right now, which is we're taking this existing content, remixing it, and creating something new and more meaningful and giving it some context and meaning. I like that.
There's some sort of controversy that surrounds curation, and what is that, and why do you think people have, they discuss the problems with it?
Yeah, and so again, if you look back at what happened in the music industry, when rappers first sampled music and started to remix music, was that stealing or was that creation? So I think when we look at what happened in the music industry, the answer was, well, there's creation in that. And I think that's what's happening also today. The issues around copyright, or like, I think no one wants to be duplicating content. But if you quote content and if you put content in context, then you create something which has higher value than the original, different pieces of content separated. Like when you create a Scoopit page, and you assemble all of those links, you give your own comments to it, you kind of mix all of that. You create a page which tells a story, and which is greater than the sum of its parts. So I think there's we have to be careful about copyright and make sure that people understand the right way of doing it, and certainly we have a responsibility as a platform to make sure people understand that. But I think overall the trend is good. It's about creating something new by remixing content.
And I feel like there's a need out there for curation because there's just so much out there, and people get overwhelmed with the information. And how do you teach people how to curate good content?
So I think again what we're trying to do on the platform is make sure they understand that this is about adding to the existing, giving context, highlighting content, and not duplicating it. So like for instance, when we make suggestions to people on the platform, there's only a quote from the original content, and then you can elaborate on this. And there's interesting initiatives which are happening. There's a famous curator, Maria Popova, who just proposed the curator's code as a way to recognize curation as a form of authorship. So trying to standardize how you do a VIA, how do you do work on attribution. So I think those are interesting initiatives that are going to help people to recognize curation as a form of authorship, and also be a way to guide people to doing the right things.
And so if SOPA was passed, would it have basically gotten in the way of your startup and also the curation of other sites out there?
Yeah, but I think it would have been a much bigger mess because there's a lot of things which revolve around sharing that would have been at risk with such a legal ecosystem as SOPA. I think YouTube could have a problem. So if you start destroying YouTube, then of course we don't exist anymore. But a whole part of the internet doesn't exist anymore, and Facebook probably would have a problem as well. So I think it was a much bigger issue than just our issue.
Excellent. And is there anything else that you would like to tell the people out there about curation and Scoopit?
Well, so I think the other aspect of curation is I think there's an opportunity to create something new in publishing. I like the way I've seen people discuss about this. I see a lot of very positive things happening with the media industry, meeting with geeks and engineers. A lot of this happening at South by Southwest. There were a lot of great panels on this here. I think engineers like me tend to think about publishing industry as a stack model, where you could look at creation as one stack, distribution as another stack, and this sharing and curation as a stack in between. And right now there's a lot of things which have been said about using social networks to distribute your content, and I think media who understood that did a good job. But there's also a curation stack which is missing, and that needs to be built, and I think that's very exciting also to address.
And that's what you're addressing with Scoopit.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to.
Great. So where can we find more information about you and Scoopit?
Well, you could go to Scoopit, so scoop.it, and if you want to look at my pages, they're on scoop.it/u/GDECUGIS.
Well, thank you so much for watching. We're here at South by Southwest at the Tech Week booth, and we'll be right back.